countries in Italy, in France, in Russia that have the same violence because it's just the circumstances of their environment. Period.
Where did the term ghetto derive from? The Holocaust, right? Like them. What was it, like in Poland or something? That's where the word ghetto derived from in the first damn place.
God, we need to reassign that then because I never knew that.
Yeah, the ghetto came from like where the poor Polish. Don't take me on that, but it's like Polish or whatever.
No, let's run with it. Yeah.
Like, yeah. No, yeah, it was a Polish man, but yeah, it's not a black thing. It's definitely not. It was just assigned to us, and we take all these, terms, just like how we talking about crackhead and stuff. We take all these terms that we've been called and take them to heart, man, and really act out what the, what the character is.
I just think people in general are. I do think being black. My wife and I were talking about this thing yesterday, but you have to be black. You just have to be a stronger person. Period. I don't care what anybody says because your life is just different. You just we get used to it because we are, and that's the way we live, and the only thing we've ever known. But you just have to be a different type person, period. And
you have to be much more multifaceted. You have to be.
Yeah, you got to be and in corporate, you got to be like your best you all the time, which can be draining.
Yeah, because a lot of the times, the end of brothers' corporate careers because they try to take on the roles and the luxuries of their white counterparts. And then when they figure out they can't roll on the same, on the same ticket, they out of there.
Listen,
you know what I'm saying? Like
I just got a haircut today, and I was growing my hair out for like 3 months. Every time I would go to a meeting, they're like, "God, you need a haircut. You need it." I'm like, I get a haircut every week. My hair just don't look like your hair, right? Now, if old Jim Bob had grew his hair out and pulled it back in the man bun, they wouldn't have said nothing.
Nope.
It's just the way it is, right? I mean, I'm like, geez.
It's a lack of understanding, and as the majority, it's just which I say majority because slowly but surely, demographically and statistically, numbers are showing that's quickly dwindling away as far as white people being the majority. But the fact of the matter is, you always have to adapt to thrive in that environment. There's never a situation where it's rarely a situation where it's the opposite.
Right.
But because to your point, Lance, that's what it's going to be. Grow facial hair out for a while and see how that goes for you, too. I'm pretty sure there'll be some comments about that, too, depending upon
get that Philly beard.
But that's like a Southern, I mean, you look at white dudes, they have like Southern beards, but it's like, it's okay.
Right. A black dude doesn't, and he's militant.
Yeah.
So,
oh, really?
It's all perception. It's all perception of stereotypes that they push.
Y'all giving too much power to the hair because I remember that Kaepernick conversation. Now I was trying to say the same shit. And y'all was like,
"What was that?"
Yeah, like I'm just saying, like when we had that Kaepernick conversation, I was talking about how white people really perceived that look and was giving like a lot of power to it, which is why my boy Vic was like, "Look, man, just cut the shit. It's a start."
Nah, man,
you know what I'm saying?
Fuck Vic. Vic was playing.
No, Vic was being the cool, but I'm just saying.
No, I think we agreed.
We agreed on that.
I think we agreed on you with that, but we were saying that it was more. It was just more than that. I don't think we disagreed.
Yeah.
Nah, I definitely didn't disagree.
Okay.
Now, let's go into Kaepernick because this is the reason that Kaepernick took a knee in the first place because of the racism and the police violence and everything. So, it's really coming ahead that people can see what's really going on in America. So you see what's going on with Kaepernick, and now you got Marshawn Lynch. He's out of taking a seat with a banana
and Michael Bennett,
on the sideline. So it's going to be
and Marcellus Bennett, right?
NFL season. Yeah, and Bennett too. Yeah. So it's going to continue this season. So the conversation needs to
Michael
continue.
Bennett?
Is
it Michael?
It was Michael.
So the whole beef with Kaepernick was initially they were like, "Oh, you're a backup. You're doing this because you want attention. You want to get likes on Instagram, and you want to bring attention to yourself." And so eventually he got whiteballed. That's the terminology that my man Shannon Sharp used. Shout out to Shannon. But so now Shannon's like, "Look, now we got two legit Pro Bowl caliber superstar athletes doing the same thing and not being met with nearly as much pushback." You see what I'm saying? So he's just calling bullshit on the NFL, period, too.
And I think part of it is that the guys who are kneeling and sitting in solidarity with Kaepernick, but they aren't necessarily coming out verbally the way that Kaepernick came out and said, "Look, this is not right." Like, you know, I think that's why these other guys get such a pass.
I think Michael did, but Beast Mode didn't.
No, because Beast Mode isn't going to say anything regardless. And they're going to write that off as just Beast Mode being Beast Mode. They're going to be, oh, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, Michael came out and said some stuff too. Not as vocal as Cap was. And I think that's why some of these other dudes get a pass. And too, like you said, Mike and you said too, Ham, it's such a combination of all of everything. It's a combination of his image. He seems angry and defiant by their standard. And then he's smart. He's right. Intimidating because he's intelligent. The more articulate he was, the further the hole he dug for himself, which is crazy because we got to deal with that too. If he was ignorant and couldn't really express his need, they would have like maybe suspended him, brushed it off or some shit. But the more, relevant and, precise his attack was and everything, it just screwed him even more. Yeah, but Trump's secret society, a.k.a. the NFL owners, are out here carrying on, out here fanning the flames too. Because like Roper said, it's impossible to talk about what's happening in Charlottesville and not talk about what happened with Kaepernick and how that has also fanned the flames on our side. Yeah. That has sparked black people now to get angrier at what's going on. So now you've got tensions rose on both sides.
Right, because it's not going to be too much more singing, holding hands and singing Kumbaya as you're throwing sticks and trying to injure, kill us and all that stuff. A lot of times there's going to be a lot of get back. So, yeah, that's where the anger and stuff comes from. And personally, for me, I say it's about damn time.
Okay, so can we talk about 45 and his statement?
Yes. So we could talk about how first 45 sat on the sidelines, and you know how
quick temper, boy.
Everybody has kids on the thread.
Yep.
You know how when you tell your kid to do something and they're doing something else and they know what you're telling them to do, but they're ignoring you, and they're just sitting there like ignoring you. Like, that's what he was doing this whole weekend. He was tweeting about other stuff like, "Oh, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. I'm gonna ignore it." He was tweeting about
not gonna pay any attention
about trade embargoes with China and all this other bullshit. Nobody, like, he's trying to misdirect people. Like, nobody is paying attention to that bullshit. And he sat on the sidelines all weekend until today.
And then he still talked about the economy first.
No, he ain't sitting on the sideline. Come Saturday, he actually came out and said on many sides. Yeah, he actually made it worse. He made it worse.
Yeah,
he made it worse by coming out and saying a direct quote. A lot of hate, bigotry, racism, and egregious violence on many sides. And he emphasized it on many sides.
And these coons been coming out the trees like left and right. I mean,
we'll get to that. We'll get to that because I think this might be a coon roll call we do at the end of the show.
Man, we gonna have we putting.
Coon.
We putting a lot.
Roll call. Coon.
Yeah, it's been a lot of shucking and jiving this weekend.
Yep.
Yeah, we got to bring one back too.
So then Trump even got pushback from Republicans, like even via video from one senator, I believe, and then like
Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio. I mean, they were.
Oh, even his own daughter, who happens to be, think she like transitioned or converted to Judaism,
and his
when she married her
non-English speaking wife even had a statement.
Right. English is a third language, not even as a second.
Which is so funny to me because none of his supporters care that his wife is a foreigner, but they hate foreigners. I guess just not European foreigners. Because imagine if Michelle Obama would have been from Africa. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It wouldn't even matter. It wouldn't even matter.
Imagine if Michelle.
It would have been terribly worse, but still, would have been still bad.
Imagine if Michelle Obama was white.
Oh my God!
It's funny, Lodge, you say. I was just thinking that. I was just thinking about what all types of nigga lovers they would have been calling her. Hey, he had a white wife.
I don't know, man.
I don't think he would have got
I
that
think
vote.
I think they would have put their 50% in the White House. Yeah, they would have just been like, oh, the White House, 75% white. You know that, right?
He's like, nope. Because remember that whatever that 5 drops rule that y'all made up back in the day, it still applies. Whenever we want to use it, it applies.
I think a black couple is worse than a mixed couple in terms of like the highest office in the land.
Yeah,
but Trump sat on the sideline so long because those are his constituents.
Right.
Yeah, that's
and then Duke called him out, right?
Yeah, David Duke told him.
Called him out he treated him like a little bitch too, man. He was like,
he
man,
did. You better look in the mirror. When somebody tell you, you better look yourself in the mirror.
You better look in the mirror. That was like
you better look in the
evil
mirror.
Villain threat. That was an evil villain threat, man. He was like, I was like, damn, son.
Who said that?
Damn Marvel movie or some shit? David Duke.
David Duke said you better look in the mirror and remember it's the white Americans that put you in office. We're here to carry out what carry out your agenda.
So that's a perfect example where kind of how like I think a lot of the white folks where they see these racists in the streets doing their duties. If somebody would come out and snuff and just take out David Duke and the Spencer dude, I'm like, I wouldn't have done it, but yeah, you know.
I think so. Right. Spencer got snuffed one time before on the street somewhere, maybe in New York.
Somebody stole on him.
He was getting interviewed and someone just a white dude ran up on him and just snuffed him and kept running.
We ain't heard from him since.
No, he was there. He got arrested. He got arrested in Virginia.
There, but, he got tackled to the ground or something like that.
He got arrested. Yeah, he got arrested.
Oh, okay. All right. He was the one that got arrested.
So Trump's statement was like just like his prepared generic statement. Was that today?
Yeah. The one he read off the
what?
Yeah.
Why do you have to read from something like that? I mean, I don't understand. Like, why do you have to read a statement?
Because it's hard to call out something that you're a part of, man. It's hard to do that. Right. When you're a part of it, you can't call it out. It's hard to do that.
You can't formulate those words on your own.
Right.
I forget the dudes. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, but and with it sounding robotic and it's kind of like you're reading it. That's kind of like code to your constituents that you're being forced to. Because if it was anything memorized, they could literally attribute that to him. The fact that he had to read that is kind of like code, like blink 2 times if they making you do this.
And that's exactly. And the funny thing it's funny that you said it because David Duke, he went on a tirade about it, but then said that the news tricked him, the fake news or fake media outlets tricked him into saying that. All this other stuff, so they still kind of halfway don't believe it.
I don't believe nothing to do.
Which we don't either. Which I mean, and the funny thing is, Trump to put himself in a bad predicament because he's kind of like he's forced to call it out, and so they're gonna be pissed off with him. And we never liked him to begin with, so he's in a bad spot.
But right after
and quit.
Right after he made the statement, I saw a post from one of the Nazi leaders. I'm calling them Nazis. I don't give a fuck what they call themselves. I'm calling them Nazis. One of the Nazi leaders said that they loved Trump's statement that he didn't condemn them. Blah blah blah. This is that. So it's just like what Ham said. Like the fact that they feel like it's a forced statement gives him credibility.
But shoot, even that, even today, even when the statement he made today, about shortly an hour later, they were talking about him using his presidential pardoning capabilities to pardon.
That sheriff.
It was that sheriff that was like targeting, trying to target illegal immigrants. Like after they told him not to stop, after they told him to stop doing that, he did it anyway. End up getting detained or arrested for that. And Trump's talking about trying to. The story now is he's trying to use his presidential pardoning capabilities to get him out.
And why even mention that on the day today? That's so blatant. It's so blatant, man. And see, the thing about Trump, man, like with hate, it's kind of hard to like harness hate. I look at hate like one of those industrial fireman water hoses. Like you turn that bitch on, it's like.
Yeah, so, it's got to come out. It's got to come out.
Yeah, so but it comes.